Rome, Italy. Café Greco, Via dei Condotti, June, 1964. Wednesday afternoon, 3:45 p.m. The café is over 200 years old. Dark wood paneling, marble tables, walls covered with paintings and photographs of artists who sat here over the centuries. Goethe, Byron, Keats, Casanova. This is where intellectuals and artists have gathered for generations, where ideas are born over espresso and cigarettes. Today, two men sit at a corner table near the back, away from tourists, away from noise, in the quiet space where serious conversations happen. One is Sergio Leone, 35 years old, heavy-set, thick glasses, rumpled clothes. He looks like a school teacher, not a film director, but he's already made several films, already developing a reputation for vision, for seeing things differently than other directors. Across from him sits Clint Eastwood, 34 years old, simple clothes, no jacket despite the June heat making Romans seek shade. He flew from Los Angeles 2 days ago, jet-lagged, uncertain, wondering why an Italian director he's never met asked him to fly to Rome for a meeting. Leone speaks limited English. Clint speaks no Italian. Between them sits a translator, a young woman hired for the afternoon to bridge the language gap. Leone orders espresso. Clint asks for water. They've been sitting here for 5 minutes, small talk through the translator, weather, the flight, Rome, nothing substantial yet. Leone lights a cigarette, studies Clint through the smoke, not his face exactly, something deeper. Trying to see what the camera will see, what audiences will see. Finally, Leone speaks. Italian, rapid, passionate, gesturing with the cigarette. The translator converts. Mr. Leone wants to know if you've read the script. Clint shakes his head. I didn't receive a script. My agent said there was a Western, an Italian production, that you wanted to meet. That's all I know. Leone nods, seems pleased rather than concerned, speaks again. The translator. Mr. Leone says good. He doesn't want you to read the script yet. He wants to tell you about the film, about the character. He wants to see if you understand the vision before you see the words. Clint leans back. Okay, I'm listening. Leone sets down his cigarette, leans forward, begins talking, not in a linear way, not explaining plot or structure, just talking about feeling, about image, about a man who exists outside society, outside morality, outside everything normal people understand. The translator struggles to keep up. Leone talks about American Westerns, how they're lies, how they pretend the West was civilized, how they show heroes who are clean and moral and always do the right thing. But the real West was chaos, Leone says, violence, survival, men who killed without hesitation, who took what they needed, who had no names because names don't matter when you're dead tomorrow. He talks about Japanese samurai films, about Kurosawa's Yojimbo, about a masterless samurai who plays two gangs against each other, who has no loyalty except to his own survival. That's the story, Leone says, but set in the American West. A man with no name, no past, no future, just the present moment, just survival, just violence when violence is necessary and silence serves. The translator converts all of this. Clint listens, doesn't interrupt, just absorbs. Leone watches his face, watching for reaction, watching for understanding or confusion or rejection. He sees none of those things, just attention, just a man listening, considering. Leone continues, talks about the character, not a hero, not a villain, something else, something between, something true. He won't talk much, Leone says, won't explain himself, won't justify his actions, will just exist, like a force of nature, like wind or fire, present, dangerous, inevitable. Most actors need dialogue, Leone says, need words to show emotion, need explanation to show motivation. This character needs none of that. This character needs silence, needs stillness, needs eyes that say everything words would ruin. The translator finishes, waits. Clint is quiet for a long moment, then asks his first question, why me? Leone smiles. responds through the translator. Because I've seen your television show, Rawhide, and I see something in your face. Something you're not allowed to show on American television. Something harder, something dangerous, something real. What do you see? I see a man who could kill, not pretend to kill, actually kill, if the situation demanded it, without hesitation, without regret. Most actors play at danger. You don't play, you are. Clint considers this. That's not who I am. No, but it's who you could be. That's what I need. Not an actor pretending to be dangerous. A man who could be dangerous but chooses control. That tension. That's the character. Leone orders another espresso, waits for it to arrive, drinks half of it, then continues. He talks about the visual style, long shots of landscapes, close-ups of faces, silence filled with tension, violence that's sudden and shocking, not choreographed like a dance. He talks about Ennio Morricone's music, how it will be operatic, grand, how the film will be an opera about death. He talks about shooting in Spain, in the desert, in heat that will be unbearable, on a budget that's tiny by American standards, with a crew that doesn't speak English. He talks about all the difficulties, all the challenges, all the reasons this could fail. Then he stops, looks at Clint directly, speaks in English for the first time, broken English, heavily accented, but clear enough. I make Western, different Western, true Western. You want? Clint doesn't answer immediately. Thinks about what he's heard, what he's been offered. An Italian Western, low budget, foreign director, shooting in Spain with no American crew, playing a character with almost no dialogue. In a film that breaks every rule American Westerns follow. Any agent would say no. Any reasonable actor would say no. This is career suicide. This is abandoning everything he's built on Rawhide to make a foreign film that will probably never be seen in America. But Clint isn't thinking about career strategy. He's thinking about the character Leone described. The silence, the stillness, the danger held in check. He's thinking about 7 years of Rawhide, 7 years of saying the same kinds of lines, playing the same kind of character, being safe, being commercial, being what television requires. And he's tired of it. Tired of safe, tired of commercial, tired of playing versions of himself that are softer than he actually is. Leone is offering something else, something dangerous, something real. Clint looks at Leone. When do we start? Leone grins, wide, genuine, relieved. He talks rapidly in Italian, excited now. The translator struggles to keep up. Mr. Leone says shooting begins in August, 6 weeks, in Spain, Almeria, the desert. He will send you the script next week, but please remember, the script is just words. The film is images, silence, faces, what's not said. Clint nods. I understand. Leone isn't finished, still talking, still excited. The translator catches up. Mr. Leone wants you to know, this isn't just one film. He wants to make 3, a trilogy. If this first film works, 2 more. Same character, same style, 3 films total. He needs to know you'll commit, that you'll come back. Clint pauses. 3 films. That's not 6 weeks, that's years. That's committing to this Italian director's vision for the next several years of his career. What if the first film fails? Leone shrugs. Through the translator, then we fail together. But I don't think we fail. I think we make something no one has seen before, and that's worth the risk. Clint extends his hand across the table. Leone takes it. They shake. A deal made without contracts, without lawyers, without any of the machinery that usually surrounds film production. Just 2 men agreeing to make something together. Leone signals the waiter, orders grappa, 2 glasses. When it arrives, he raises his glass, speaks in Italian. The translator converts, to the man with no name, to the Western that isn't a Western, to breaking every rule. They drink. Clint sets down his glass. I should tell you, I've never done anything like this. I'm a TV actor. I don't know if I can do what you're describing. Leone smiles, responds through the translator. Perfect, because I've never made a film like this either. We learn together, we discover together. That's how you make something new, not by knowing everything, by being brave enough to not know and still try. They talk for another hour, not about the film specifically, about cinema, about American westerns versus European films, about what makes a character memorable, about violence and silence and truth. By 6 p.m., the cafe is filling with evening customers. Leone and Clint stand to leave. Leone speaks one more time through the translator. Remember, when we shoot, don't act, don't perform. Just exist in the moment. The camera will find everything it needs. What if I don't know what to do? Then do nothing. Nothing is always better than false something. They part on Via dei Condotti. Leone heading back to his production office. Clint walking toward his hotel. The sun is setting over Rome, the city turning gold and orange. Clint walks slowly, processing. He just committed to 3 films with a director he met 3 hours ago, based on a script he hasn't read, for a character he doesn't fully understand. This is insane. This is career suicide. This is everything a smart actor doesn't do. But it's also exciting, also different. Also the first time in 7 years someone has seen him as more than a TV cowboy, has seen danger, has seen silence, has seen the thing Clint knows is in him, but Rawhide never lets him show. He gets back to his hotel, calls his agent in Los Angeles, tells him about the meeting. The agent is furious. You committed to 3 films without reading a script, without negotiating a deal? Clint, what are you thinking? I'm thinking this is the role I've been waiting for. It's career suicide. Italian westerns don't work. They're cheap knockoffs. They don't play in America. You're throwing away everything you've built. Maybe, but I'd rather take the risk than spend the next 10 years playing it safe. This is insane. Probably, but I already shook on it. I'm doing the films. The agent sighs. Fine. I'll try to get you a decent deal. But don't blame me when this destroys your career. August 1964. Clint arrives in Spain, meets Leone and the crew, starts shooting A Fistful of Dollars. The work is strange, difficult. Leone shoots 20 takes of simple actions, demands silence where American directors would demand dialogue, makes Clint stand still when every instinct says to move. But something is happening, something neither of them fully understands yet. The character is emerging, not through performance, through presence, through the thing Leone saw in that cafe in Rome. December 1964. The film is finished. Leone and Clint watch it together in a screening room in Rome. When it ends, Leone turns to Clint, speaks in broken English. "We make 2 more, yes?" Clint nods. "Yes." September 1965. A Fistful of Dollars is released in Italy. Becomes a phenomenon. Lines around blocks. Everyone talking about the American with no name who barely speaks. May 1966. Shooting The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The final film of the trilogy. The biggest. The most ambitious. Leone and Clint have become collaborators now. Partners. They understand each other without needing translation. Can communicate with looks and gestures. On the last day of shooting, Leone says through the translator, "Remember Rome? The cafe? When you came with no script?" Clint nods. "I knew then. I knew you won. Not because of your acting. Because you listened. You didn't need the script to understand the vision. You understood with something deeper." What did I understand? That the best characters aren't written. They're discovered. In the silence between words, in the space between action. That's where truth lives. December 1967. The Dollars trilogy finally reaches America. Released by United Artists. Marketed as something exotic, foreign, different. American audiences discover the man with no name. Discover Clint Eastwood as something other than a TV cowboy. Discover a character unlike anything American westerns ever produced. The films make millions. Launch Clint's American film career. Lead to Dirty Harry. Lead to everything after. all because of a meeting in a cafe in Rome. 20 minutes where an Italian director with broken English described a vision, and an American actor with no script understood. 1992. Unforgiven wins Best Picture. Clint wins Best Director. Backstage, a reporter asks about influences, about what shaped his approach to directing, Clint thinks, then says, Sergio Leone taught me that silence is more powerful than dialogue, that stillness is more interesting than action, that the best performances happen in the space between words. What was the most important lesson? Don't act, just be. The camera finds everything it needs if you're truthful. The reporter doesn't understand, but Clint doesn't elaborate. Some lessons can't be explained, only experienced. 2024. Clint Eastwood is 94 years old. He's directed over 40 films. Most of them follow Leone's principles: silence, stillness, truth over performance. And it all started in a cafe in Rome in 1964, when a director said, "I make Western, different Western. You want?" And an actor said yes without reading a script. That's trust. That's vision. That's understanding that the best collaborations don't come from contracts and negotiations. They come from recognition, from seeing something in another person that they might not see in themselves. Leone saw danger in Clint, saw silence, saw stillness, saw the thing American television was hiding. And Clint saw truth in Leone, saw vision, saw someone willing to break rules and make something real. They met in a cafe, talked for 20 minutes, committed to 3 films, no script, no contract, no guarantee of success, just 2 men recognizing each other across language and culture and understanding that sometimes the best deals are made without papers. Just a handshake, just trust, just belief that together they could make something that mattered. They were right. The trilogy changed Western cinema, changed Clint's career, changed how audiences understood heroes and violence and morality, all because Clint walked into a meeting with no script, listened to a vision described in broken English through a translator, and said yes to something he didn't fully understand, but somehow knew was right. That's not recklessness. That's recognizing the moment when risk is actually opportunity, when trust is actually wisdom, when following instinct matters more than following advice. Leone died in 1989, 60 years old. He made 7 films in his life, only 7. But those 7 films changed cinema, influenced generations of filmmakers, created a genre, and it started in a cafe in Rome, with a meeting that lasted 20 minutes, with an actor who came without a script, with a director who didn't need one. Because the best stories aren't written, they're discovered, in the space between words, in the silence between action. That's what Leone taught Clint in 1964, and what Clint has been teaching audiences ever since. Don't perform, just be. The camera finds everything it needs. 20 minutes in a cafe, no script, just vision, just trust, just the beginning of a legend.